Hello out there, everyone. Today we're going to take a look at this 1998 Lionsgate film, Buffalo 66, starring Christina Ricci and Vincent Gallo, with a co-starring turn by Ben Gazzara and Angelica Houston, with Mickey Rourke in there as well. So, pretty terrific cast, and even Jan Michael Vincent. It's actually a remarkable cast. And Vinnie Gallo is one of those guys that's obviously a pretty controversial character. He said some pretty outrageous things and has made a movie called The Brown Bunny that will live on in infamy. But, I think all that being said, I think that there's a strange tenderness to him as well, despite all of his bravado and some of his keeping it real moments that I think border on the side of just complete tastelessness. He's a complicated guy, but if you've ever listened to any interviews he's given, it sounds like his home life was not far from the home life depicted in this film, which was not great. He's certainly a very talented character. He directed, he starred, he wrote, he did the music to this film. He's clearly a talented guy, and I think that this movie, in fact, is one of the best low-budget independent films I've ever seen. It's kind of like a blueprint on how to make how to make a movie rather on little to no money. He does some really interesting stylistic things that don't necessarily cost a lot of money, but are pretty appealing to look at and novel. The movie itself, I think, is actually a pretty interesting setup, despite its somewhat outlandish premise. Vincent Gallo plays a character who gets out of jail after serving time for a crime he didn't commit, but he had to do it because he lost a bet and couldn't cover the loss. And the bookie told him, hey, if you don't have the money, this is how you're going to pay it off. You're going to take blame for a crime that one of my colleagues committed, and you're going to do the time. And so he does that, and he gets out, and apparently is, pretty lonely. You can see it in his eyes. He's just a pretty tortured soul. But he manages to inexplicably kidnap Christina Ricci at a dance studio and somehow convince her to be his wife, play his wife, as they go back to visit his parents and have dinner with them. It's just such a strange setup for a film, but it's surprisingly well executed. And Christina Ricci is great. Vincent Gallo, he's got some wonderful, quirky moments in this film. I always find it interesting that Cadillac, the company, managed to steal a line from this film for its own copy, because there's a hysterical moment where Gallo, just as he kidnaps her and they get into her car, he discovers as he's in the driver's seat that it's a stick shift, and he doesn't know what to do with it. He says, what is this, some kind of shifter car? I drive luxury cars. I drive cars that shift themselves. I drive a Cadillac. And Cadillac, of course, went on to, their tagline was, we're a luxury car, which I don't think that is just coincidence. But apart from that, I just want to, again, stress that this movie is just such an odd duck. But it's a remarkable example of what you can do on a low to no budget if you've got a creative mind, and obviously you have to have a little bit of talent too. Vinnie Gallo, again, there's some crazy interviews out there on YouTube that I think he's even tried to get scrubbed, but they're still out there, and he just says some of the most outrageous things, so you can understand how he has sort of been blackballed from Hollywood. But despite all that, I think that the man clearly has talent, and I also think he's a hurt dude. And you know what they say about hurt people? They hurt people. But I think what's remarkable about this film is, even though it's not quite autobiographical, there's clearly elements from his childhood in the movie, and you can see it as a labor of love. So definitely give this film a look. I think this 15th anniversary edition that I just picked up is on sale for like $9. And it's great. It looks great, sounds great. Has a remarkable final act with some really cool sound and vision set against a Yes song that's quite effective. I can't recommend this film enough. In fact, it's really one of those movies that's quite peculiar but highly entertaining. So on that note, please do take care out there, everyone. Stay safe, be kind, and keep watching good cinema.